Howdy YouTube land. Let's see here. Yeah, welcome back to another rendition episode of Dick Around in the Garage. You may be looking around, see that thing and this thing, and be like, that's not that thing. No, because we're Dicking Around the Garage, and on Dicking Around the Garage, we talk about and we also work on everything that I own. Put you that way. And maybe some things I don't own. But ZeroTurn hydrostatic transmission issue. I am fortunate enough to have the ones that are serviceable, where you can pull the filters off, change filters, and change oil and all that stuff. I have done that before. It is not all that difficult. I went ahead and took tires and stuff off the back just for video purposes to kind of show and share with you guys the process, so to speak, because I've got something howling. I don't know if it's low on fluid. I don't know if it's got air pocket in it or what. One side, the right hand side, the hydro transmission is a little bit dirty on the exterior, whereas the one on the left hand side is a little bit cleaner. So yeah, it's dark out. It's like 10-11 o'clock at night, but this is keeping me up, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. So I'm gonna grab the stuff that I need to grab to access the filter and get the filter off and all that stuff, and move the camera around and show you guys. And we're gonna look and see if there's any diamonds in there. All right, so I have the commercial hydro gears. So I have filters, which lets you drain your hydro gear. And as you can see, there's all kind of dirt and stuff that is signs of a small leak, which could be a seal. So my guess is, if I have a hydro gear going bad, it is the right side. Now, these things are not cheap. Tractors get 600 hours on it. I can tell you that every single hour this tractor has on it, I have put on it. I bought it brand new in 2016. It has made me a boatload of money. Don't tell the IRS. And this is how we pay for our motorcycle excursions and trips and stuff that we go on. So, I mean, shoot, I've even paid for Christmas with money from cutting grass for the kids a couple of times. So, I have the covers. Like I said, if you're doing this yourself, you're watching this video because you want to know how to do this. Oh, sorry. And you're doing it yourself. You do not have to take the tire and wheels off. I did that just to make it easier for a spot to, yeah, my arm's going to be in the way the whole time. Put the camera. And that filter wrench is going to be too damn big. So, we gotta get creative. I changed these little bastards once. I'll be back. EWZs might be too big. Oh, we got it. Get creative. Anyway, tractor's got 600 hours on it. A lot of hydro gears on equipment tend to go out around 600 hours. And right now, I'm just kind of watching and looking to see if I see any metal. And I'll tell you what, that oil is really, really, really clean. Again, hey, if you watched my last episode of Dickin Around the Garage, you saw that I run Amsoil in the pickup truck. Well, guess what kind of oil is in my hydro? Amsoil. It's $11 a quart. It's cheaper than a Hydro Gear kit, I can tell you that much. But the Hydro Gears are like $1,300 each, so that's expensive. And then torn between, do you do one or do you do them both? Because all the stuff you gotta take apart to get to it. Do them both, you're looking almost $4,000. I don't know. I'm hoping that it just had some air in it, but pull the filter off. And after I get the number and get new filters ordered, I will probably, I might cut that filter open at work and see. Now, due to lighting purposes, I cannot show you guys because I can't. I've tried. I just can't get a good camera angle on. A lot of people say when you put your filters and stuff on, or when you change it, just fill it up through that bottle. Well, the problem with the bottle is it's got two lines that come off of it, one that goes to each hydro trans. So this one doesn't get it as quick as that one. So you gotta crimp off a line, then you gotta sit there and wait and wait and wait. On the commercial ones with the filters, I don't know about the other ones because I don't have one of the other ones. But on the commercial ones with the filters, there's actually a fill plug, and you can just take a squirt bottle with a hose on it, sit there and pump it in until it starts to come out. There is really not supposed to be any oil in the bottle on the top side because it is just an expansion, because oil, especially hydro oil, transmission fluid, things of that nature, when it gets hot, it expands. So the tank is basically an expansion tank. I am no expert on these hydro trans deals. I just kind of know my tractor and know that something's not right, and one of the simplest things to start with is that. But come inside here, you'll have your clutch and everything. Go straight back, there's a rod, and then there's an 11/16 plug is the size of it. Pull that plug out, and that is where you will fill it. So I'm going to take that plug out, and sorry, there's no metal on the plug. And that is, well, it's not magnetic, so there wouldn't be. But at the same time, I'm not seeing any signs of any metal contamination in there. So that is that one. Now, just because SL 10102, and that's a Napa number. I'm not reusing the old filter, don't worry. I'm just going to screw it on so I can use my old pan to get the other one off without making a mess on the floor. So let me go get the other one off and drain it, and we'll bring you guys back in and let you know what we're going to try and what we find. Alright, you get the other side apart. No metal in the oil. Good clean oil. That oil's only got 100 hours on it, if that. What? I think the book says every 500 hours, and I've done all the maintenance on this thing since it was brand new, according to manufacturer specs in the book. And it says to do the hydro gears or hydro trans, whatever you want to call them, hydro axles, I don't know, every 500 hours. So I hit 500 hours and made sure I did them. I do know I bought M's oil, hydro oil from Napa, local Napa, and bought filters from them. However, I do know that I also had a problem with a hydraulic filter on a log splitter that was a Napa brand. The flow rate ended up not being right. So I wonder if that could be a similar situation, or I wonder if one of these things goes out if there's no metal, because I don't know what's inside of them. Honestly, I've never messed with them. Or if it's just that right one, how dirty it is, and it looks like it's got all that grit and oil and stuff on the outside of it. If the case isn't sealed up, because it looks like you can split the case. So if the case isn't sealed up and it's leaking a little bit or venting, or there's a hose or something, I don't know. We'll have to get it cleaned up and see. There'll be more troubleshooting. But some of you are probably looking here and you see the ZeroTurn, you see the John Deere 7 or 1023E sitting there with the bucket and mower deck and 3-point hitch and all that stuff. 4-wheel drive tractor. Wonderful machine. First off, well, that's not mine. I borrowed that to do some driveway maintenance and dig out my flower beds, which we got taken care of. And I did mow grass with it today. Let's just go ahead and, I don't know. Well, yeah, let's talk about that. And I'm not bashing John Deere at all. So let's clarify that. But let's talk about the Cub Cadet versus the John Deere. Okay? They are both wonderful pieces of equipment. I've had this since 2016. So that's 7 years, 7 seasons on it. 600 hours. I think I've put 50 hours on that. Now, it's just bone stock. Tires aren't loaded or anything. No type of counterweight for the back or anything like that. So, with the bucket on, naturally, weight distribution, it's not the most fun feeling. But we managed to get what we need to get done. That is actually my mom's, and I gotta clean it up and get it back to her. I do greatly appreciate her letting me use it because it saved me a boatload of time. I had it for about 2 weeks. The auto connect deck is super easy. At first I thought it would be difficult. I wanted to mow my grass with it just to see, because I was debating. That was my whole thing. I was debating between actually buying a subcompact, because I need something. Those of you who are new to the channel haven't, if you guys tuned in because we were doing something with the ZeroTurn and Hydrostat and you've made it this far along, you haven't seen my driveway. Some of the other folks, I believe in some of my videos, have probably seen them. I know Harley Day has been to my house when my driveway was rough before I fixed it. And leading on to my next point, Harley Day has also seen my yard, and as he calls it, Road Glide Andy's Mountain. My yard is, I have mowed yards since I was little. I have never encountered a bank like what I have here. Never. I've run garden tractors. Back when I was growing up, this was a garden tractor. You didn't have a 3-point hitch on it really, but you had blades and you could pull discs and things of that nature with them. That was about the size of your average tractor. And now what they've done is they've put 3-point hitches on them, mid PTOs and rear PTOs and front end loaders, and they call them subcompact tractors. And like I said, I'm not bashing anything, I'm not talking smack. They have their place, same as this has its place. That thing there is what, I don't know what they paid for it, but I'm guessing 19-20 grand for just because of the name. I've worked on John Deere stuff before. It's not fun on the pocketbook, but they do have a great warranty. So I think they offer like an 8-year warranty on them things. But just, I can't bring myself to spend 20 grand to mow grass. I mean, I have a friend who thinks he can get me into something like that for 10, 11 grand with a 60-inch drive on deck. 4-wheel drive. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. But then after using that on my yard today, get back to that. Even my front yard has a little bit of a slope to it. And I understand straight up and down. I know how to mow grass when you're on hills, straight up and down. But it's not sloped bad enough to where you can't run sideways. But it just doesn't feel stable, and it's not real steep out front. Then you get out back and you're running straight up and down, and the way the back is you go up, and then there's a point, because coal mine went under, there's a point where the ground dropped, and then you're back up, and it's not level, it's not straight, it's goofy, because it angles up the hill. The way the drop off is, it angles up the hill. So when you hit it, you're not hitting it straight. You didn't even try to hit it with that thing. I went along the bottom of it and followed the angle pattern up. I just didn't like the way it felt, so I didn't push it. It's not my equipment, so I'm not going to put it in a situation to where something's going to happen. It just did not feel stable. The ZeroTurn, as you guys can see, smaller tires, lower, shorter, more balance. I can run this ZeroTurn sideways, diagonally, straight up and down. I've had one time where I tipped it on its side. I don't think that's what's causing my hydro problem, but it could be. I don't think it is, but oil could have. I don't know. I don't see how, because it was on its side but 5 minutes. And that was just from breaking traction. And that will break traction too, even with it being four-wheel drive. You have the four-wheel drive ability, and that's the other thing is that thing doesn't want to go unless it's in four-wheel drive as far as going up the hill. It doesn't want to go. This thing will eat that hillside alive. So I'm kind of torn and twisted because we were set on getting a subcompact tractor to maintain driveway and cut the grass here, and then use this for the couple of yards that I go out and get paid to mow, and not put so many hours on this thing. Now I'm thinking if I get one of those, I don't want the mower deck. I did mow the field with it, which is roughly a 3-acre field, and it's hillside. The very bottom portion of it is very steep. I didn't even try to get on it. And those of you who know me know that there's not too much that I won't attempt at least once, but just the stability of this, even with the bucket off, the bucket's off right now, even with the bucket off, it just, and it was off while I was mowing, it didn't feel right. And maybe it's just because I've been on this thing for 7 years and kind of knew what it's going to do, versus this is new to me and I'm not familiar with it. But I do know my back bank, I wouldn't put one of those things on it. I wouldn't do it. The way that back bank is, with the slopes and drops up in the middle of it on the one side, and then when you get over by the house, as you get down lower, it's just a straight drop off. It's not very high. That's how this flipped over, was at the bottom. It broke traction about midway up, and I tried to back down, because what are you going to do? It's not going to go up because it was spinning on grass clippings, wet grass clippings. My fault for being out there mowing on wet grass clippings, but at that point in time, you got to do what you got to do. So I tried to back down, and it just wanted to slide. I'm not jumping off. I'm riding it out. We're going to see what happens. So we did, and when we hit that bottom drop off, it just tipped over on its side. No big deal. It wasn't fast. I mean, it didn't hurt. Tractor didn't get hurt. Nothing happened to it. I've been having issues with the hydro and steering. Steering's really, really tight. And when the tractor was new, it was not that way. Like I said, I've done all the maintenance. I keep everything greased. I generally try to keep everything cleaned up pretty good. I have been slacking lately. But back to this versus this. This for maintenance on driveways, flower beds, things of that nature. Mowing just open fields and stuff like that. Spectacular. For mowing steep banks and stuff like that, I'll take this any day of the week. This is a wonderful machine. It really is. I do want something like it. I don't like how, if you want to mow in reverse, you have to push and hold the PTO button for a couple of seconds while you're backing up in order to get it to stay on. That's kind of annoying. That's probably the only thing bad I've got to say about that tractor. The ease of taking the loader off, the ease of taking the mower deck off, it's seconds. And I've seen videos where people make it complicated, and it's not complicated at all. Because I saw where it said auto connect on it, and I was wondering how that worked. And that's when I saw it's just auto connect drive shaft. And once I had the deck off and everything, I saw how that worked. I get curious as to how that stuff works. But 23 horsepower diesel works great. Blows grass far, cuts grass just wonderful. I think I probably had it set up a little too low for what I was mowing. And that was just go a little bit slower and don't take a full bite. But even as big as that is, it's slower than the ZeroTurn in my opinion. It's got a 54-inch deck. This has 48-inch deck. This has 48-inch deck because 48-inch deck will fit on my trailer. I don't believe a 54-inch deck will. This tractor actually came with a 54, but I haven't put a 48 on it. The difference is not because it's a John Deere or because it's a subcompact, it's because it's an actual tractor, whereas this is just a ZeroTurn lawnmower. You can turn quicker with this. That is longer, takes more time to turn around and come back and make your pass. Unless you just go around in a circle, which who wants to do that? When you mow like that, it looks like shit. I mow straight up and down, side to side, diagonally, make checkerboards, make diamonds, all that stuff. It's fun. I enjoy it. Next to riding a bike, people think I'm crazy, but mowing grass is one of my favorite things to do. I enjoy it thoroughly. But I would like to see, well, it'd be hard for them to do. I think probably what's going to happen is we're going to end up buying something like that just for maintaining the driveway. And I've got it for a couple more days. I've got a pile of firewood out there that I got to split. We don't have a drawbar or anything for it, so I'll use a truck, hook logs clear up, back up to the wood pile, split wood, put it in the bucket, because that's the things that I would be doing with it. So I want to see if it's going to justify spending the $10,000-$12,000 on something like that with a bucket, and then I can buy stuff to plow snow, because we get snow, plow snow and all that stuff, and it'd be nice not to have to call my neighbor or bring his big tractor over when my driveway gets horrible like it was. I did straighten it up some with that, but it was just too far gone.